Hi, my name is Sophie Fetter, and I'm a high school senior from Ann Arbor, Michigan. I've been involved with Citizens Climate Lobby for over a year now. I was fascinated by the economics of carbon fee and dividend. I've always had a passion for animation and video making, so I decided to merge my passions with my climate advocacy. I made this video to explain a basic outline of the Energy Innovation and Carbon Dividend Act. Enjoy. Right now in our economy, fossil fuels such as coal and petroleum often cost less than renewable energy sources such as wind and solar. Energy that pollutes more costs less, so companies use it despite clear evidence that burning fossil fuels will have disastrous effects on our planet. But this low price is deceptive. Current fossil fuel prices do not take into account the numerous negative effects of burning fossil fuels. For example, let's say that you live in the general vicinity of a power plant that burns fossil fuels. Because of the pollution from the power plant, you develop severe respiratory problems. You have to go to the hospital, which costs you money in medical bills. You may also lose your job because you are too sick to go to work. This is an economic cost put upon you and your family by the power plant, manifested in your loss of income and your medical bills. This negative social cost of burning fossil fuels should be included in the price of energy produced by that power plant. Climate change is already destroying housing, increasing severe weather damage due to flooding and drought, and crippling American agriculture. Climate change is projected to cause the mass migration of up to 700 million people. That is 125 times more refugees than those displaced in the crisis in Syria. The combination of all of these effects will be catastrophic for the U.S. economy. It is estimated that, if nothing is done about climate change, the global gross domestic product will fall by 30%. To put that into perspective, during the Great Depression, global GDP fell 25%. The only difference is that this GDP reduction would be permanent. If all of the negative effects of burning fossil fuels were added to the price of unclean energy, the price of fossil fuel energy would be massive. What can we do about it? The Energy Innovation and Carbon Dividend Act is a bipartisan bill in the U.S. House of Representatives. The bill proposes a type of climate change legislation called carbon fee and dividend. The bill is pragmatic, economic, and effective. How does it work? The Energy Innovation and Carbon Dividend Act has three main aspects. The first is the carbon fee. The bill adds a fee to the production of dirty energy. This fee represents the added cost that climate change has on us all. The fee would start at $15 per ton of emitted carbon and increases by $10 per ton per year. The fee will steadily raise the price of fossil fuels. Due to the rising cost of fossil fuels, investments will naturally shift into renewables. It will gradually become cheaper to produce goods sustainably than unsustainably. The carbon fee addresses the problem at the source, instead of a specific part of the market, like a tax on gasoline or electric power. The second part of H.R. 763 is the dividend. We will all face many negative effects due to climate change. The dividend is reimbursement for those negative effects. The revenue generated from the carbon fee will be divided equally among all Americans, and a check will be sent to each household every month. The Energy Innovation and Carbon Dividend Act will cause an increase in the cost of products that have a high carbon footprint. The dividend offsets this increase in price. The dividend ensures that the majority of households come out ahead, particularly those in the lower three income quintiles. Only those who use the most energy and buy the most carbon-intensive products will have to pay more than the dividend covers. The last piece of the Energy Innovation and Carbon Dividend Act is the border adjustment. Border adjustments work by adjusting how much U.S. companies have to pay to import or export products at the border. It works in two ways. When goods come into the U.S. from other countries, foreign exporters will have to pay an offsetting tariff. Let's say that another country is exporting steel. Whatever energy it took to produce that steel, they would pay the U.S. the carbon fee equivalent to its carbon content. If it takes 10 tons of emissions to produce 15 tons of imported steel, then the fee would be $150. With the border adjustment, the net cost of steel from other non-carbon fee countries equalizes with U.S. produced steel. The second way the border adjustments work is on exports. When the steel is exported across the border, U.S. manufacturers will get a rebate equal to the carbon fee they paid. Let's say that it costs $15 to produce 1 ton of steel in the U.S. When that steel is shipped over the border, American companies get a rebate of $5 back, so they can sell that steel for $10, the price that they would have sold it at if there had not been a carbon fee. U.S.-produced steel then equalizes with foreign steel. This is how the Energy Innovation and Carbon Dividend Act protects American industry and American manufacturers. Lastly, border adjustments actually encourage other countries to pass carbon fee laws of their own. Why should they have to pay this tax to another country when they can make their own products cleaner and keep the money for themselves? These 3 pieces of the Energy Innovation and Carbon Dividend Act are what make it an economic and pragmatic tool for fighting climate change. The Energy Innovation and Carbon Dividend Act supports individual choice. Everyone likes to make their own choices, and nobody likes to be forced to do things. Individuals can choose to live a more carbon-intensive lifestyle. It will just cost more to live a more polluting lifestyle. Because goods that cost less carbon to make will be cheaper, the bill will naturally benefit those with a lower carbon footprint. This creates an incentive for consumers to be more environmentally friendly and carbon neutral. This bill will improve health and save lives. It also puts money every month directly into people's pockets to spend however they see fit, primarily helping lower and middle-class Americans. The bill will create over 2 million new jobs, thanks to the economic growth in local communities across America. The Energy Innovation and Carbon Dividend Act is a free market solution. Understanding this is key to understanding the bill. The bill is not regulatory. It adds a price to carbon and lets the free market move us to renewable energy sources. The Energy Innovation and Carbon Dividend Act is a solution that works with the economy, not against it. The Energy Innovation and Carbon Dividend Act will cause a massive reduction in American carbon emissions. It is estimated that the Energy Innovation and Carbon Dividend Act will reduce America's emissions by 40% in the next 12 years, and 90% by 2050. A recent study by Columbia University confirmed the effectiveness of H.R. 763. Researchers state that under this bill, greenhouse gas emissions decline substantially, air pollution also declines, and electricity generation shifts to cleaner sources. They also stated that energy prices rise, but they do not skyrocket. The carbon dividend cushions energy price impacts. The Climate Leadership Council issued a statement on carbon fee and dividend on January 17, 2019. The statement was signed by 3,554 U.S. economists, including 27 Nobel laureate economists, all 4 former Federal Reserve chairs, and 15 former chairs on the Council of Economic Advisors. It is the largest public statement by economists in history. The statement says, the Energy Innovation and Carbon Dividend Act is an economic solution to humanity's most pressing problem. The bill will reduce emissions, grow the U.S. economy, and provide for low and middle income families, all while maintaining freedom of choice and growing American industry.